Hi, my name is Kimberly Harwood from Zeeman Development. Today I'm going to give you a demonstration of the advanced features of Audit Trail Professional. So Audit Trail Professional now contains a new module called Validatrix, and this allows you to have rules for live data validation within your Razor's Edge database. This comes as part of the Audit Trail Professional package, but is also available as a standalone product too. So let's take a look at that first. Let's open up the configuration module. As you can see, we've got a number of rules set up here already, and you can have as many rules as you want. Rules can be really complex, so you can have conditional fields. We've got an example here of if a gift is over £1,000, then you need to add certain constituent codes and solicit codes too. But you can have really simple ones, such as the first name must have a capital letter. Let's take a look at our email format one as an example. So here we've selected for this rule to act on the phone number field. We've given it a name and we can give it a description, and we can select it to only act on certain formats too. So we've selected this just for the email address. If we take a look at the criteria, here we're just validating it as an email address, so making sure it's got the correct format. And we can add dependencies for more complicated rules, so we've got other rules that it would depend on. The real-time validation is how we show users that they've made an incorrect entry. So we've got a number of options. We can cancel their saving and show them a message or not, or we can allow them to choose to continue saving but still show them a message saying that there's a problem and let them have a choice. You can also have different actions for different security groups too, and set up your dialog message here. So once we're happy with that, we can also set up an audit standard. And what this means is that it's just much easier for us to see any data entry that breaks our data rules when we're looking at the viewer later. So we can choose an error message just to tell ourselves what the problem is, and we can choose a background colour and a text colour to make it stand out a bit more obviously. So we'll take a look at that in the viewer shortly. For more information about how Validatrix works, do take a look at our full screencast available on the website or get in touch for more details. So let's take a look at some more of the advanced features. If we open the Audit Trail viewer, click on the Zeeman Development logo and go to the Advanced menu. We've got some options here, and that just shows us which areas we're currently auditing across the Razor's Edge database, and you can edit those. Additionally, we can set up our field profiles here, and what that means is that we can drill down into groups of fields that are the most important to us to look at, as the viewer shows us all the changes on the database, and sometimes that can be a bit too much to look at all in one go. So once again, I've got a few set up here already. In my biographical field, in my biographical profile, you can see I've got selected constituent fields, and the ones that I'm interested in here are simply the first name and the surname, the gender, any constituent codes, and the primary salutation. And that just means that I can drill down into those areas if I want to make 100% sure that just those are correct once I'm looking at all of the changes. Additionally, you can delete your historical transactions from here. So once you're happy that you've reviewed and made changes to any records that you need to, then you can delete the records showing the changes from the viewer, and that just means you're not clogging up your database with historical changes from a long time ago. Okay, so let's make some changes in the database. If we go to the record section, and we'll open up a record. So let's make a couple of changes here. What we really want to do is add a website, but we've accidentally added this in the email field and overwritten the email address. We're going to change the title, and we're going to add a constituent code too. So let's save that record. So the Validatrix has noticed that the email address we've entered is not in a valid email address format. So it's giving us the option that we set up earlier to continue saving. So if we press cancel, then we can change that before saving. If we press no, then it will revert to the previous value. And if we press yes, then it will continue saving as we've left it. So let's save that for now. And now if we go back to the Audit Trail viewer, we can take a look at any changes that have been made today. So as you can see there, we've got a huge number of changes that have been made throughout the day. So in order to drill down into a bit more detail, first of all, we might want to use our field profile. So if we take a look at our biographical field profile, then that allows us just to look at those fields that we were most interested in. So our name changes, any gender changes, additional constituent codes, and the primary salutations as well. If we remove that, run the search again, we can also apply our audit standards, and that will highlight any changes that were made against our data rules. So you can see the standard error column appears on the left hand side. But once again, there's loads of changes, so if we just want to look at the ones that broke our rules, we can click on the Filter on Errors button, apply standards once again, and we can see all of these invalid email addresses here. So we can see the change that we've just made. Here we had an email address, and this has been replaced with a web address. So if we right click on the record, we can export all of these details and deal with them later, or we can take a look at the constituents record and see what we think, or if we're sure that that's wrong and we want to get rid of it, then we can revert the value and undo it. So let's do that. Now once we've done that, we'll see this little undo symbol will appear in the left hand sidebar, and that will stay there for the entire time that we're using this session of the viewer. Once we go out of the viewer and back into it, then this will appear as a change itself, so you can see any undo changes as well as the initial ones. If we now click back on this record, right click and take a look at the constituents record, we can see that that email address has been changed back to the correct one that we had earlier. For more information about Audit Trail or about Validatrix, please visit our website www.zeidman.info. Thanks for listening.